And this is one aisle I definitely avoid right here. There's nothing on this aisle right here that I would eat. None of this stuff I haven't eaten in years. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. This would be so bad for me, all of this stuff. It's just, for my system, this is like garbage. And look at all the food coloring here. Look at all the food coloring in all this stuff. It's crazy. It's crazy. To me, my system would not tolerate this stuff. I haven't had any of this stuff in years and don't intend on it. None of this stuff. I'm sorry, folks. I know this is hurting a lot of you to know that none of this stuff I've had in years, like decades. None of it. I would not put a bagel in my system if you paid me. I wouldn't do it. Not in years, not in years. Now you come down through here and you get what they call kind of healthy bread, but really I hadn't touched any of this stuff in years. I wouldn't touch any bread products. I wouldn't touch a wheat product. Then you get into what you call your cheap bread. You definitely don't want to touch this unless you're making dough balls. You can make some world-class catfish dough balls or carp dough balls out of this stuff. This is good dough ball bait right here. That's all it's good for in my mind. It's not good for me because I would get sick if I ate that right there. So you come on down and the bread never ends. It's a never-ending, never cease to end aisle of bread that seems to go on. You get down to the hamburger buns here and you'll see that there's basically no hamburger buns, but you do not want to touch these hamburger buns with a 10-foot pole. You do not want to touch them. Let's come back over here and go down this little aisle right here. Now this aisle is basically what you call your meat aisle. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. I haven't eaten this stuff in decades either. Wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. Maybe a little bit of cheese, but really not that often. Just every once in a while. But the cheese goes on forever. The cheese is never ending. Never ending cheese right here. Exiting the cheese, we come to more bread. They strategically have bread just about everywhere. More bagels here. It's this stuff I wouldn't eat. I haven't had this stuff for years and years. I wouldn't touch it, wouldn't touch it, wouldn't touch it. No, you wouldn't want to eat this stuff. I wouldn't. You can eat what you want to. But with my little case of high functioning autism, I would not tolerate this stuff. None of it. None of it. This stuff can be best avoided. For me, this can be avoided. None of this stuff. Bacon, everybody loves bacon. This is to be avoided. Nitrates, preservatives. My system doesn't care for that. If you want to eat some eggs, they're good for you. Eggs are not bad. They're out of a lot of their eggs right now. But if you want some eggs, you're okay with that. Let's go on down this aisle right here a little bit. Milk products I'll stay away from. None of this stuff. None of this almond milk. No chocolate milk. I haven't had that for decades, but when I was a fat little kid, I used to eat chocolate milk all the time, but not for years though. Oh, excuse me. So if we move on down this direction, none of this stuff. This creamer stuff in your coffee, I couldn't tolerate that. None of this stuff. No, I've never bought this. Haven't bought any of this stuff in here. What's this stuff? Cold coffee, $5.88. Look at that right there. That is $5.88 for. My God, if you drank one of those every day, that would add up right there. But I wouldn't drink any of this stuff. None of this stuff. You don't want to drink this stuff if you can help it. See, because all this orange juice and stuff is so sweet, I would tend to drink too much of it. I wouldn't be able to control it. So I wouldn't drink any of that stuff right there. Now this stuff is your fruit section right here. Now remember all the bread section we saw, how big it was? Now this is your frozen fruit section. It starts right here. And the frozen fruit section goes down to right there. Now now look at that, contrast that with the bread section we went through, the little meat section we went through, and the cheese section we went through. Here's the fresh fruit section, beginning to end right there. That's pathetic. I mean, that is absolutely pathetic that they don't give us any more choices to do. But anyway, I do like these dark cherries, and they seem to do me pretty good, so we're going to go with them. I'll find my cart right here. We'll head on back down this direction. Do this stuff, you know, if you can find a yogurt these days that has a high fat, I wouldn't get the low fat. What's the point of getting the low fat? You need fat, and if you get your fat from a good source, you don't want to get low fat yogurt. That's my own opinion right there. If you can get it without artificial sweeteners, see, all this stuff is going to have artificial sweeteners, artificial colors. None of this stuff I would eat. If you're going to get yogurt, just get plain and mix your own in. None of this stuff. Yeah, I wouldn't mess with none of this stuff. It's all kind of addictive too. It goes on and on, all of it. Now I do some dairy. I ain't saying I won't do dairy. We gotta have dairy. You know, the old gut system right there. You know, I always check the dates. You know, it wasn't too long ago I bought one of these little things like this right here. And I got it home, it was within date. When I popped the top off, it had mold growing in it. So, you always check your date there and get it as far out as you can so you don't get mold in your sour cream like I did. So we're gonna come on down here. And we do have a butter section right here. You know, butter's not bad for you, really. If you can get a good 100% butter, you're alright. You know, you need fat, you gotta have fat. Butter's not that bad. Margarine, you don't want to mess with the margarine. Fake stuff. I wouldn't touch this stuff with a 10-foot pole. I hadn't touched it in years. I wouldn't let my lips come in contact with this stuff right here.